So we have the mental pillar, or basically it's attitude. You brought this up. Uh, so I see a lot of people who live a long life because it's almost like they just expect to. It's like a self fulfilling prophecy. And even if they don't live a long life, they are able to do a lot of things till the very end because they just have an attitude of so what? I don't care how old I am. So what? And also they kind of just don't really even think about it. They just get up and go, I want to run a marathon. And they don't even think about, am I too old to do that? They just get up and go, I want to run a marathon. I want to go to Paris. I want to climb a mountain. And age doesn't really factor into their equation. They just think of the things they want to do and they go do it. Um, Most people don't do that though. Most people go, "Oh, I want to climb a mountain," but then they go, "Well, I'm 65. I'm kind of too old for that. I don't know if I can get that done. I don't know. It's maybe too late for me to do those things." But people have this mental side of it. Just don't think that way. They just, age is a number, and they just don't care. So, they think about the things they want to do, and they go after it. And also on the mental side too, they keep the mind active as well. So, they're constantly learning. They're doing new things. They're always growing. They're always, they might learn a new language, or maybe they do puzzles every day. So keeping the mind active and having that right attitude. One of my role models in this is Betty White, the actress, who's I think 96 now, something like that, and she's still acting. It's not like she's 96 and in a bed doing nothing. She's 96 and still taking on roles and doing things. She had a full-time TV show, I think, when she was 92. And working on a TV show can be long hours and not necessarily an easy thing to do, but she just kept at it. I got a couple quotes from her. I never thought about age much. Do what you love more than anything else, then what is there to complain about? Keep plugging away and never give up. Keep yourself busy. Why should I retire from something I love so much? Accentuate the positive, look for the good. Remember to treat yourself. She's known for loving hot dogs and French fries, so she always treats herself to hot dogs and fries. She drinks alcohol all the time. So this gets back to the beginning when I was saying, I see people who live a long life, but they don't exercise. They don't eat well. So I look at Betty White and I see that. I'm like, well, wait a minute. How do you explain her? But she's just got that attitude of, I'm going to enjoy life and keep at it. And these kind of people, they keep busy. A lot of people, when they retire, they don't keep busy. They just veg out and they have nothing going on. They just watch TV all day. And it's almost like it's almost like you're telling your psyche, like, well, I'm done. What else is there to live for? I'm just going to sit here and do nothing. Whereas, if you're constantly striving, doing things and going after goals, then you're kind of telling your psyche like, hey, there's still more to live for. I'm still striving. I'm still looking to have fun. I'm still looking to be a productive person. So, it's very interesting when I think of this mental pathway, or, people who are role models for this. There's a guy I dug up a few months ago. His name's Werner Berger. And I never heard of him before, but you'll see him on YouTube. And at age 77, he climbed the 7 highest mountain peaks around the world. So, another interesting guy. And he has that exact same attitude as Betty White. People are like, well, how do you do that? And he's kind of like, well, why not? Why shouldn't I do it? I'm just going to keep at it. So Tom Brady again, people are like, oh, you can't play football to 45. He's like, why not? I love playing football. And that's an interesting too, a thing about Tom Brady is he loves playing football. Not only does he love playing the game on Sundays, he loves the preparation work. He loves the practices. He loves the training camp. You talk to actually a lot of football players and they hate that stuff. Like Brett Favre, when he was getting up there, he kept telling people, he'd say, I love playing the game on Sunday. He goes, but I hate practice and I hate training camp and I hate exercising and keeping in shape. So, that's one reason why he didn't last. That got to be a grind. But Tom Brady says, I like the stuff, so it's not a grind. So he just keeps doing it. And same thing with Betty White. She loves acting. She loves making people laugh. So why not keep doing it? Have fun with it. So, you got to just have that right attitude of, I'll do whatever I want to do. I don't care how old I am. So,
Yeah, I think I think one of the things for a lot of people, obviously the vast majority of people, is they have jobs or they have careers that weren't their first choice, or they're in a position where they have to keep doing something as a profession, as a career, or as a job that is not fulfilling for them. And that's where somebody can pick up a hobby, um, and devote their time to that, and hopefully that gives them the mental break that they need, right? Whether it's music, or whether it's some type of sport, or some creative outlet. I think people need to have creative outlets in order to balance their life and balance their lifestyle, because there's a lot of guys out there with have a wife and they have 2-3 kids. They're working a job 50 hours a week, and they're trying to also spend time with their family, and they're not taking care of themselves. They're not they're not fueling the mental side and the emotional side. They're and those are the guys that tend to have a heart attack at 55, or cancer, or whatever, because of the stress, all the stress they're under, and they're not finding an outlet. And I think it's important for those people, male or female, breadwinners and non-breadwinners in the family, to have some kind of an outlet, some kind of a mental release. Whether it's playing guitar, or whatever. And you may not be very good at guitar, you may not be very good at dancing, or whatever it is, but you try it and you do it, and you find something that you enjoy. And then that's something that carries over into retirement, right? So you can maybe take that skill, take it into retirement, and all of a sudden, you're 65 and you're retired, and you got a lot of time to play guitar. You join a band when you're 65. There's a lot of, I don't know if I haven't been out much because of the pandemic, neither have I, but there's a lot of guys, a lot of older guys out there that regularly gig. They play every weekend or every other weekend, and it's an outlet, and it's something that's fun. And why wait till you're 65? Start when you're 35. Start when you're 35, and have that mental release and have that mental break. So, yeah, a big part of health and longevity is having a strong mental attitude, and having the ability to find a release if you're under a lot of stress, and you're dealing with a job that's maybe not your first choice.
So true. Yeah, I think life, a big part of life is it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You can if you think you can, and you can if you don't think you can, type of thing. I don't know who said that, but I think that's very true. One of my favorite stories is Roger Bannister, the first guy to run a sub 4-minute mile.
Mm-hmm.
Before he did that, he was the first.
Mm-hmm.
Before he did that, it was commonly thought it was impossible, that it just, the human body could not do that. So many years, many decades went by, and nobody could break 4-minute miles. Some people even thought, like, you'd spontaneously combust or something if you did. Like, the body just couldn't handle that stress. And finally, Roger Bannister did it. And after he did it, in the next couple years, another 20 people did it. And that just tells you that, well, why were these 20 people able to do it now, and they couldn't 2 years ago? It's because it was just mental. It was just this mental belief that you just can't, and Bannister just shattered that and said, no, actually you can. And then everybody said, oh, okay. And that's what Tom Brady is doing. That's what Betty White is doing, is just saying, I can, and I will. So, and it's just having that attitude.
Well, now we have a sub 2 hour marathon.
Yeah, that's crazy. Jeez.
The guy that I think he broke that last year or a year before. The guy broke the sub 2.
And I remember in my life when I was about 40, I never had back problems or really any problems at all health wise. Mm-hmm. And I finally threw out my back when I was right around 40. I can't remember the exact age. And I threw out my back, and I was literally in bed for like 3 days. Could barely move out of bed. Didn't go to work and all that. And after about a week, it loosened up and slowly got back to normal. And I remember when I went back to work, and everyone was like, "Hey, how you doing? You all right? We heard you. You hurt your back. Blah blah blah." And I told them what happened and all that. And a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, gave me this attitude of, "Well, you're getting up there. You're getting kind of old." And it was the strangest thing to me. Because I'm 40, and I'm like, really? You think I'm getting up there because I'm 40? It just made no sense to me. I'm like, I'm not 140. I'm 40. But it just hit me like people just have this attitude of like, yeah, you start hitting 40, 50, stuff just starts falling apart. And, oh, well.
It's normalized.
That's life. Yeah. Just learn to deal with it, You talked in the physical side of how people start to compensate and just learn how to deal with it, and it's just this attitude of bad stuff's going to happen.
It is normalized, though. I tell you a story about 6 years ago. I went for a physical. I went to a doctor, guy I've been going to for a long time. There was a nurse. I'd never seen her, and she was doing the intake, and she asked me, what medications am I on? I said, I'm not on any. And she looked at me, and she looked at my chart, looked at my age, and she's like, no,
it's not possible.
What? No, I mean, what medications are you on? And I said, I'm not on any. Well, what about heart thinners? And I'm not on any. And I had to say that 6 times in a row to finally get her to believe that I didn't take any medication. It's normalized, like your back pain at 40. Oh, you're going to have back pain at 40. And when you're in your 50s, you're going to be on heart medication, and you're going to be diabetic or pre-diabetic, and so on. It's just crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing that's also interesting about the mental side of things is when I look at my mom's in her 90s, and physically it's starting to get a little rough for her, but mentally she's still very strong. She's still very sharp. And for the longest time I'm kind of like, well, how is she doing this? What happened here? Is it just genes and luck or what? What's going on here? But then I realized my mom reads all the time. She constantly is reading a book. Whether it's a murder mystery or an autobiography, she's always reading. And I'm like, there's something going on there. It's keeping your mind active, keeping it going, keep learning. So, it's part of it too, is just keep those mental faculties sharp and
reading a book,
challenging yourself. Yeah.
A lot of people don't read anymore. A book.
Yeah, it goes back to earlier about sitting in your couch and watching TV all day. Not only is it physically bad, but mentally it's bad too. It's another thing we're losing over time.